after watching the debate, I do have to agree with some other members on the panel. I think the strongest performer in terms of who will do well in the general election, who will do well with the most Republicans, is actually Ron DeSantis.
But at the end of the day, I looked at two people. I'm still more leaning toward Ramaswamy. I like what he had to say. But DeSantis, really, when you looked at what he had to do last night, DeSantis didn't have to win. He just needed to survive the debate. But he came across as charismatic. He came across as strong character, projected strength and confidence. And to me, that was a big takeaway.
I think Ron DeSantis still. I think he's leading in the polls. I just think he's the only one with the experience and like the recent exposure that he's gotten over like COVID and like the last couple of years. So I think he's really the only one. He's just got the experience, and really I think he's got similar Trump-isms. I think people would describe him as the way that he acts, and so I think a lot of people would think about voting for him over Trump.
Okay. Now, do you guys agree with that, or is there someone else who you believe fits that question?
No, I agree. Like I said yesterday, I think he had to present himself as a viable alternative to Donald Trump, and I think he was able to do that.
All right, stop right there. You're not allowed to play more of that Fox News clip because they're not having any of that. Okay, keep that in mind. They made it very clear they want nobody playing their clips. They'll sue you or something. So we'll have to find a different way to go through this, and I think I have found that. We'll go to Glenn Kessler at the Washington Post and look at what he decided to do, and that is, quote, fact check, end quote, the GOP debate. But you'll find his fact checking leaves a lot to be desired because a lot of it is, well, I don't agree with this person's take on this issue, so he's lying. Wait till we get to abortion at the end of all of this, and you will see that this whole thing is actually an abortion. So stay tuned for that. Let's start with the guy who I think won the debate, Vivek Ramaswamy. He came out, and I think he came out and come off very well. Look at what he's saying here. I didn't grow up in money. His argument, of course, being, look, I don't have a lot of money. I didn't come from a lot of money. I'm a self-made man. And Glenn Kessler didn't like that. He did not like that at all because the fact of the matter is Ramaswamy came from, are you ready for this? A middle-income family. And his father was worried about being laid off, so he became the patent attorney at the firm to protect his job. Oh, it gets worse than that. Real bad, real bad. Look at this. By the time he was 18, he had dividends that earned $453. And then when he was a sophomore in college, it was $11,000 in dividends alone. So, I mean, he was rich. I mean, combined with his wages, he was making almost $15,000 a year. This guy's rich. He came from money. Go get him. That's a lie, I guess. That's how you fact check stuff, apparently. Let's move on. We have a crime wave in this country. Not many people are going to disagree with that. Vivek Ramaswamy says we have a crime wave in this country, and Kessler starts in immediately. Well, I think we have to understand that that's a bit out of date. And then he goes on to say things like, well, it spiked during the pandemic, but yeah, it's still higher than it was then, but now it's starting to come down. It references 30 cities that their crime rates fell 9.4%, yet it's still higher than it was before the pandemic. So, gee, why do people think there's a crime wave? This sounds almost like their argument that gas prices are coming down, so you should be thankful. I mean, they're from $5 to $4, and it was $2 when Trump left office, but it could be $5, so it's $4. Inflation, same way. It was at one point 8.6. Now it's just 6. That's good. It's down. I mean, it was 2 when Trump left office, but it's down. This is the exact argument they make in that case. So the argument is, hey, look, it's better than it was when Biden was doing it before. Okay, all right, good deal. So reelect Biden, great argument. Great argument. Moving on, we need to understand Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. That comes from Tim Scott, who had a terrible debate. Terrible. I think he was the worst one up there. I think Doug Burgum had a better day. I got Burgum-mentum. Somebody stop me. I got Burgum fever. Yeah, well, this argument that he is making here, that the average family is losing $10,000 worth of spending power because of inflation and costs and all these other things, well, that is just a lie, according to Glenn Kessler at the Washington Post, because it's only $7,400, you idiots, and that's according to Kevin McCarthy. So your buying power is only down $7,400 on average per family. What are you complaining about? At least it's not 10, stupid. Again, this is a fact check. They're debating the amount of money we're talking about here, whether it's $7,400 or $10,000. Either way, it's destroying people. And I can't wait to hear Joe Biden say, they said that I cost the average family $10,000. It's only $7,400. Vote for me. Makes no sense. How about crime being at a 50-year low in Florida? You can tell that this is obviously true based on the first line you see here from Glenn Kessler. The statement is based on incomplete data. And then when you get to the end of this, you'll read the best part of it, where they say, okay, let's be clear. It's been declining for 3 decades. So we can't really say it's incomplete. It's been declining for 3 decades, so we don't want to give him any of the credit. So we're going to just say that it doesn't really matter. So not that he's lying. It just doesn't matter at this particular point in time. Great. The Biden administration wanted to put 87,000 people in the IRS instead of giving the money we need to our Border Patrol. That's my hero there, Doug Burgum. And Tim Scott said, let's fire the 8,700 IRS agents and hire double the number of Border Patrol agents. Okay, how can we have a gripe with this? Well, you're about to find out, because that 87,000 figure is a common GOP talking point, says Glenn Kessler, but it's wildly exaggerated. See, they want to hire 86,852 full-time employees in the next decade, but they're not all agents. Gotcha. So we're going to hire 87,000 employees. But that's not even really a fact check, because if you look at what my hero Doug Burgum said, the IRS wanted to put 87,000 people, or the Biden administration wanted to put 87,000 people in the IRS. That's exactly what they want to do. Why are we fact checking this? You should just be saying, yeah. Oh, because it's 86,852. Damn, these GOP guys are sloppy. Good thing Glenn Kessler and the Washington Post are there. Our heroes, right? Moving on. We've secured the southern border. We've secured the southern border and reduced illegal immigration by 90%. Mike Pence. Mike Pence was feisty, uncharacteristically boisterous and bold. I liked it. I like Mike Pence. Here's what's amazing about how Glenn Kessler framed this. He says 90% of this data is, or 90% is a cherry-picked number, comparing 2019 to 2020. Now, let me scroll down here real quick and share with you something. One of the things they talk about in this is complaining that the Trump administration is counting people they were kicking out because of COVID. Now, keep in mind, our friends in the media didn't want them doing that. The Trump administration used COVID as a reason to enforce the border. That's what they did. And they were able to get it through that way. It was a reason. It's sort of why Biden wanted to end it, because it was actually working. So they would stop it and let more people in. Just absolutely brilliant stuff. But yeah, that's a lie, apparently. And then there's this. This is probably the most egregious, stupid bit of nonsense that Glenn Kessler is bringing to the table. He argues that Ron DeSantis isn't being truthful when he says we're better than what the Democrats are selling. We're not going to allow abortion all the way up until birth, and we will hold them accountable for their extremism. Now, you get the whole, this is a common Republican talking point, implying that late-term abortions are common, and they're totally not, and that they're routinely accepted by Democrats, and they're totally not, except that they totally are. Here's the reality. And this is him saying that DeSantis is wrong. According to federal and state data, abortions past the point of viability are extremely rare. When they do happen, they often involve painful, emotional, and even moral decisions. So he's right. They do it. And Ron DeSantis is saying, no, you cannot. Now, you can disagree with him, but you can't lie about it. So saying they don't happen is a lie. Saying nobody supports them is a lie. They do happen, and they are supported. Who supports them? Joe Biden. Yep, Jen Psaki says Joe Biden is deeply committed to supporting abortions up until birth. What is that about? Oh, I'll tell you. It's about this. It is about the idea that they wanted to pass a bill through Congress, which they failed, by the way. And that bill through Congress would have done away with all abortion laws in the entire country. Yes, it would have wiped them all from the books. And it would have said there are no abortion restrictions. Therefore, abortion until birth. Now, I understand that these things are hard truths and nobody wants to believe them because they make Democrats look so bad. They know that. We know that. Everybody knows it. But they don't have to lie to get their message out. How about this? Tell the truth. How about you just say what you actually believe and stand by it? If you're cool with all the inflation and higher gas prices and things like that we've seen, make that argument. If you're cool with abortion up until birth, make that argument. If you're cool with these things, make the argument for them. Don't say the other guys are lying because they're pointing out what you're doing. Crime is up. It's true. Gas prices up. Inflation up. All true. All true. It's costing you more money every single day. And the abortion thing is just the latest example of a talking point that they have determined that they are going to force to happen. Nobody supports abortion until birth, except all Democrats who can't answer a single question. And this is the question Glenn Kessler should be asking his colleagues to go ask Democrats. When should we restrict abortion? We already know what they're going to say. Never. That's been their talking point forever. There should be no restrictions on abortion. That's what they believe. That is abortion up until birth. That's the truth. That's a real fact check. You see? Not just saying, I don't like what this person said, so I'm going to call them a liar. Glenn Kessler is a clown. The Washington Post should be ashamed of itself. But, you'd have to have pride to feel shame, and they don't have either.